enforcement officers in the state of Minnesota took 900 pounds of meth off the streets. Do you support that?
We certainly do.
Do you know that ICE assisted in that those arrests and investigations? Do you support the assistance of ICE in that enforcement action? Yes or no?
I can't speak to that because we were not included in the briefing.
You don't know if ICE was part of it? I'm telling you they
He held up the photo, the precinct burning, and TimWalz couldn't dodge it. Stauber didn't let him reframe it, didn't let him soften it. And then the whole room froze when the questions turned from riots to stolen valor. If you're new here, consider subscribing, because this exchange went completely off the rails fast.
One from the National Immigration Center.
Without objection to order.
National Immigrant Justice Center and the Alliance for Immigrants.
Without objection to order.
They speak for themselves.
Chair recognizes Mr. Stauber from Minnesota.
Thank you very much. Governor Walz, thanks for being here today. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I ask you to keep your remarks brief. I got a lot to go through. As you know, I spent 23 years as a law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota. You know that, right? Do you know that, yes or no?
I don't know how many.
Question. It's not a trick question.
I don't know.
I'll answer it for you. 23 years in Duluth.
Thank you for that.
So, Governor, do you recognize this picture?
I do recognize the picture.
Briefly describe it to us. What is it? What's going on?
These were folks, I believe the people in the picture now are incarcerated in Minnesota.
It's a precinct 3 burning down because of your decision. Was this a peaceful protest? Was this a peaceful protest?
The gentleman standing there?
Was this a peaceful protest?
It was a criminal act that people were prosecuted for.
So it wasn't a peaceful protest, right? As I watched lawlessness devastate Los Angeles this past week, I was reminded of your failure to protect Minnesota from similar riots. Governor Walz, on May 29th of 2020, during your own press conference, you described your response to the riots during the 2020 Summer of Love as, quote, an abject failure. Governor, I couldn't agree with you more.
That's out of context.
And on May 17th, 2025, you were at the law school, graduating Minnesota Law School, talking to the graduates. And we've talked about this. You called the enforcement of illegal immigrants a modern-day Gestapo. You've been asked 3-4 times if you would rescind that, and you won't. Will you rescind it? This is like the 5th time, yes or no?
Congressman, I was talking to law students about due process, and I said
you
took an oath to due process.
Governor, was there a violent al-Shabaab terrorist who entered our country illegally arrested in Minneapolis last year? Yes, there was. Were there 3 illegal child predators arrested by ICE in St. Paul earlier this year?
I certainly hope so. That's their job.
Yes, there was. Are the officers who arrested the al-Shabaab terrorists or the child predators, are they Nazis or the Gestapo?
The tactics of wearing
They're
masks.
not.
The tactics of wearing masks.
Why did you tell us that they were the Gestapo? Do you believe that any of the violent illegal immigrants I have mentioned have a right to be in this country?
I don't know what their immigration status was.
They're illegal, violent criminals that the ICE took off the streets of Minneapolis.
You did not say, Congressman, what their status
Governor,
was.
last week, law enforcement officers in the state of Minnesota took 900 pounds of meth off the streets. Do you support that?
We certainly do.
Do you know that ICE assisted in those arrests and investigations? Do you support the assistance of ICE in that enforcement action? Yes or no?
I can't speak to that because we were not included in the briefing.
You don't know if ICE was part of it? I'm telling you they were.
I don't have that data. I would have to trust you.
Will you apologize to our constituents and law enforcement officers for making them and their families less safe with your incendiary actions?
I'll congratulate them that they helped us work on the largest pension bill for Minnesota law enforcement in 30 years.
Claiming my time. Governor, what weapons did you carry in war?
Congressman, for 24 years I carried...
No. What weapons did you carry in war?
What did you carry in uniform?
I
You
tell you
know I
what, Governor,
misspoke.
you're
You know I
barking down the
misspoke.
wrong tree, okay?
You know I
You
misspoke.
lied to the Minnesotans. You said that you carried weapons in war.
Mr.
That
Chairman.
is stolen valor. You know what? My wife
Yeah,
served 25,
Mr. Chairman,
24
I
years in the
reckon-
a little bit of
military,
respect for the
and
witness.
she's an Iraq war veteran.
You know what I mean?
She was
This
over in
hectoring is
the
not-
war
not-
zone. That's
On a point
stolen
of-
valor, and I'm so
Point of order,
disgusted with
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
And so are the people that you served
Point
with.
of order.
Point of order.
That's stolen
Halt
valor.
just a minute. State
Stolen
point.
valor.
Mr.
You didn't
Chairman,
carry weapons
that's
in
not questioning
war.
the witness.
Congressman, my 24 years was
That's not
public
Will
for
you
many, many
apologize
years.
for lying?
Objection.
Will you
know I misspoke.
apologize for lying?
Objection.
All right, hold on, pause.
That's not questioning a witness. That's not questioning a witness. You think
Point of
so,
order.
huh?
State your point, Mr. Rankimer.
No, you're
State
yelling
your
at
point.
him.
There we go.
You're hectoring. You're hectoring.
right.
You're hectoring.
State your
Governor,
point.
you didn't carry
that's
weapons
not-
in war, did you?
State your point.
You didn't
Proceed.
carry
You
weapons
got
in
24
war,
seconds.
did you?
Congressman, you
You
know I
didn't
misspoke.
carry weapons in war, yes or no?
you.
You lied. Governor, what rank did you retire at?
I
What rank
served,
did you retire at?
Congressman, I served my battalion as the command sergeant
That's
major.
not the
and
question
for
I
pay-
asked. What rank did you retire at?
I retired as a master sergeant in
Okay,
EA.
here's your coin that says you're retired at a command sergeant major. That's
Says
your
I wore
challenge
that.
coin.
It
This
says
is-
I wore the rank.
This is that's right. You didn't retire, did you?
I did
Stolen
retire after
valor.
24 years.
Here is a picture of your coin, your challenge
Jesus
coin.
Christ.
I'm disgusted with you. I'm just.
Mr.
Governor,
Chairman, the
you
time
lie
has
when the
expired.
truth-
Congressman,
you lie
I'm-
when the
I'm
truth
Gentleman's
is
time's
better.
expired.
You called half Trump supporters Nazis and fascists, and you know what? That's why the Minnesota Police and Peace Association did not support you in the last election because
Oh, I
you're missing
support
in
them.
action.
Gentleman's time's expired.
On behalf of the folks from the land of rocks and cows, thank you. Now you're back.
Chair recognizes Ms. Tenney from New York.
Representative Pete Stauber walked into that House Oversight hearing with one thing on his mind: accountability. Stauber, a former Minnesota law enforcement officer with 23 years on the job, opened by making it clear who he was and why this mattered. He asked Governor TimWalz directly if he recognized the photo. Walz admitted he did. Stauber pressed him to describe it. Walz answered carefully, saying the people in the picture were now incarcerated. But Stauber didn't stop there. He pointed straight to the core question. Was this a peaceful protest? Walz tried to speak around it. Stauber demanded the answer again. Walz finally conceded it was a criminal act, prosecuted accordingly. Stauber's point was immediate. So it wasn't peaceful. It was lawlessness. Then Stauber tied it to Walz's own words from 2020, reminding him that Walz once called his response to the riots an abject failure. Walz tried to dismiss it as out of context. Stauber wasn't buying it. Next, Stauber shifted to another firestorm. Walz's past comment comparing immigration enforcement to a modern-day Gestapo. Stauber asked him repeatedly, point-blank, to rescind it. Walz refused. Instead, Walz tried to frame it as a due process discussion with law students. Stauber countered with examples. He brought up violent criminals, including a terrorist arrest and child predator cases, asking whether the officers doing that work were Nazis or Gestapo. Walz pivoted toward tactics like masks. Stauber's argument was simple: rhetoric like that puts law enforcement in danger and undermines public trust. Stauber then brought up major drug enforcement efforts in Minnesota, including meth seizures, and noted IC cooperation. Walz claimed he couldn't confirm details because Minnesota wasn't included in briefings. Stauber demanded an apology to constituents and officers. Walz instead pivoted to legislation and pensions. And then came the moment that detonated the hearing. Stauber asked, "What weapons did you carry in war?" Walz began referencing his years of service. Stauber cut him off. He accused Walz of lying about carrying weapons in war. Stauber called it stolen valor. He brought it personal, saying his own wife served in Iraq in an actual war zone. The room erupted with objections. The chairman tried to restore order. Stauber kept pressing. "You didn't carry weapons in war, did you?" Walz didn't give the clean yes or no Stauber wanted. Then Stauber shifted again. "What rank did you retire at?" Walz said he served as a command sergeant major, but retired as a master sergeant. Stauber held up a challenge coin suggesting higher rank, accusing Walz of using a title he didn't officially retire under. Stauber ended by blasting Walz for inflammatory political rhetoric, claiming even Minnesota law enforcement organizations turned against him because of it. And with that, he yielded back. This wasn't just a policy clash. It was a full-scale confrontation over riots, law enforcement, immigration enforcement rhetoric, and military credibility. And Stauber made sure Walz couldn't escape the spotlight. If you think Walz got exposed or Stauber went too far, drop your take in the comments and share this so more people see what happened in that room.